Good morning. It's Texas Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, July 29th, almost August. It's almost August 2025. Ah! Who knew? What's going on, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Mr. Soli here, coming at you. Coming at you. With stuff. It's Conservative Coffee Talk. Conservative Coffee Talk, news for caffeinated conservatives. Conservative Coffee Talk, news for caffeinated conservatives. Conservative Coffee Talk. Hey, Tabor, it's news for caffeinated conservatives. Are you caffeinated, Tabor? Have you had your coffee? You seem a little non-jittery to me. We need you jittery. We need you worked up. Caffeine, man. Caffeine. It's very important. I believe it's the secret of life. One of them. I had my coffee. All right, then there you go. As long as you're caffeinated. Because if you're not, hey, Robin. Robin will tell you. Robin's caffeinated. Robin's always caffeinated. Robin works a lot. I have a feeling that Robin produces her own caffeine. I think Robin has the kind of system, the kind of body that creates caffeine. Robin might, see? She's letting me know. She's like, I'm in your fan club because I am caffeinated from the inside out. That's the goal, definitely. The goal is to be caffeinated all the time, except when you're sleeping. But I don't know, can caffeine help us sleep? I think it can. I once dated a woman, who could drink a pot of coffee and go right to sleep. I watched it happen. Me, I'd be up for the weekend. But there are humans out there that can just go to sleep. Their head hits the pillow and they're out. They could have been running a marathon, drinking a pot of coffee and go, I'm going to sleep now. Boop. I have to wind down, meditate, do rituals, like yoga poses, IV drip, whatever. But I can't just go to sleep, man. I've got a ritual that I have to do to get to sleep. And then, when I'm traveling and stuff, that throws it off. And hotel beds, it's like, I'm not an easy sleeper. I get to sleep eventually, but I have dated women who can just go to sleep. Literally go, I'm going to go to sleep now, and boop, they're out. I'm like, how do you do that? And I was actually in a band one time, years ago. I was in a band I had a band member. Same thing. Hey, Kim. This has nothing to do with politics. I'm just yip-yapping right now. It's running my yip. This is running me running some Astro, what's up? Talking about people that can sleep on command. Can't stand them. No, I'm just jealous. I'm jealous of them because I have to wind down and turn on. I can't watch TV for an hour. I've got to turn off the blue lights. I have to turn my house into a cave. An hour before I go to sleep, my house is a cave. It's all low little lights. It's kind of dark and it's like a cave. And I've read that helps for people like me that have a hard time turning off, But once I turn off, I'm out. But it takes me a while to wind down to get to sleep. But I have dated and lived with women who just go, I'm going to sleep. Boop. I'm like, how do you, really? 10 hours. Boop. Pot of coffee. Head hits the pillow. Out. It's got to be a genetic thing, man. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training at all. I don't know what I'm talking about. But what I do know is when you see a human being do something like drink an energy drink, a Monster, a full-on Monster, and go, yeah, I'm going to go to bed now. And they go to sleep, and you hear them snoring in 5 minutes. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you is there a switch? Is there a little, I don't know. I don't have that switch. I'm the other way. If I drink a Monster, I'm running a marathon, or I'm going to work out, or play my guitar for 6 hours. I can't just go to sleep. I wish I could. I've tried. I lay there and think, I wish I was one of those people that could go to sleep until the morning. You know what I mean? And the person next to me, she's out. I'm like, how do you do that? I don't know. Does anyone else know someone like that can just say, I'm going to go to sleep, and they just go, they're out? I can't even, hey, Eddie, I'm babbling about people that are able to go to sleep easy, and I can't. I got to wind down and do a ritual and turn the lights low and play meditation music, and I've got to chill out and turn off my phone, and I've dated girls and lived with girls that just go to sleep. Drink a Monster, pot of coffee, and go, I'm going to go to sleep. Head hits the pillow, and they're out. I'm like, I can't do that. And sleep's very important. My husband, for sure. There you go, Kim, you're married to someone. Okay, I have my partner, my girl for a long time, same thing. Out partying, having a good time, come home, drink, I literally just drinks coffee, would drink coffee all the time, 24/7. But when she said, I'm going to go to sleep now, 5 minutes later, like in REM, deep, you got to like shake her to wake her up, sleep. And me, I'm the other way. I'm like, I have to in an hour to wind down and meditate and do these yoga poses and like read and turn my brain off and like, I don't know. I can't just go to sleep like that. But I was in a band one time back in the day, actually in the 90s, with a guy like that. Same thing. Just could go to sleep. He could fall asleep. We were sitting waiting to get our hair cut one time. We're on the road playing. We were like a week in someplace in Colorado for a week, and we're sitting in this barbershop. Our hair was down to our torsos, and sitting in a barbershop waiting. And this is like 6 o'clock at night, waiting to get a haircut. He's out. I'm like, how do you do that? I don't know. It's a weird thing to talk about on a politics show. I don't know why I brought it up. It just popped into my head. I'll stop talking about it now. But Kim, you know that I'm not crazy. There are people out there that can just turn off. I have never been one of those people, and I wish that I were. I know how important sleep is. I've only ever needed about 6 hours a night, but I have to get at least 6 hours. Since this is a politics show, Donald Trump famously 3-4 hours a night his whole life. They clock, and they know where the president is all the time, right? They know where he or she is, what they're doing all the time. And Trump, it's first term, he sleeps 3, maybe 4 hours a night. Robin, you're giving me a gummy bear? Is it a sleep bear? Is it one of those gummy bears that you eat and put you to sleep? Is it a melatonin gummy bear? No, not at all. Yeah, so Trump, if we're talking about politics, Trump doesn't sleep. Margaret Thatcher, if anyone knows that name, she was the prime minister of Britain back in the day, back in the 80s. She slept famously 3-4 hours a night, if that. Thomas Edison, invented the light bulb. Thomas Edison, he had 3,000 patents in his life. Thomas Edison would work for 2 days straight, then sleep for 4 hours, then work a whole day, and then sleep for 6 hours. He would sleep when he thought sleep was the enemy. He's like, I hate to sleep because I could be awake creating things. I'm like, dude, I have to sleep to be able to create. But there are people that are just the opposite. Sleep's a waste of time. I'm like, yeah, that is right. We're talking about Donald. So I think Kim's talking about Donald Trump. He doesn't brag about it. He doesn't talk about it a lot. But when it comes up in conversation, it's like, yeah, Donald Trump's always his whole life is just like, yeah, I sleep 3-4 hours and I'm go for 20. If I slept 3-4 hours a night, 3 or 4 nights in a row, I'd be useless. That would take me apart piece by piece every day. I'd be like, But I only need 3 hours more. I need 6. I've had a partner. I live with someone that needed 10. In 10 hours, I would run, work out. You know what I mean? But I need at least 6. I don't know why I'm talking about this so much. I'm passionate about sleep because I suck at it. Does that make sense? I wish I were better. Trump is useless, explains a lot. Okay, Army vet, I disagree. But thanks for chiming in and being nice and not being rude. But yeah, I need more sleep than that. And I think most humans do. But there have been a lot of famous people that just don't. There are people that try to stay awake. When I was in college, I was one of those people, but I wasn't sleeping anyway. But I had friends in college that would do the no-dose stuff, This is a long time ago. cramming for tests, cramming for midterms and stuff, but then they could go right to sleep. I would stay awake another day, so I would always suffer. But I'm just one of those people that I can't fall asleep easy. But I've dated and lived with people that can just turn it off like a switch. I'm like, God, I love being awake. Kim, I don't love it, but I'm mostly awake. Because I don't go to sleep. It's like I said, I've got a whole ritual I've got to do to get to sleep, And if I don't do it, if I'm traveling, if I have friends over, family, whatever, it throws me off. It takes me longer to get to sleep. Once I'm out, I'm out. But getting to sleep is my thing. I don't know why I'm talking about this so much. But it does tie into Trump, who doesn't sleep. He's one of those people that requires very little sleep. I don't know why. I wanted to bring up something that's political but not, but I guess it kind of is. This Sydney Sweeney thing. Is anyone following this story? Sydney Sweeney. and how the left is losing their minds over this model. Sydney Sweeney, you can Google her, you can look her up, you can search her up wherever you search stuff up. She's a model, and she made a commercial wearing jeans, and they sold a lot of jeans. American Eagle hired her to make a commercial, and their stock went up $1 zillion in a day, and they made $200 million in a day because she wore jeans in a commercial. But she's traditionally pretty. And on the left, they're like, no, we don't, that's not right. Do you see this story? It's political in a way because it made the left mad. So I'm interested in anything that does that. That fascinates me. But because she's traditionally just pretty, they're like, yeah, I mean, story after story, please search it up. They're saying that she's not, she's, I'll let you do your own research on this one. But her name is Sydney Sweeney. I think she's 20. She's a very, very young model, and she was hired. She's worked with other companies before in the past, and they've all made money. They've all done well, but she's not a DEI person. She's not, her weight is normal. She's everything that the left doesn't like, essentially, and she's successful. So, of course, all kinds of isms are coming out and stuff, but it's incredible to watch the left politicize everything. I mean, the left is politicizing a 20-year-old girl making a good living just being a model. What's wrong with that? I mean, she can only make money if a brand hires her, right? So blame the brands. If you need to blame, the left has to blame somebody all the time, right? I mean, yeah, check out Sydney Sweeney. It's a big deal. I didn't know about it either. I was watching the PBD podcast the other day, and he talked about it for quite a bit. She's been doing this since she was 18. Now she's like 20, maybe 21, I'm guessing. But what makes her interesting is that she's uninteresting. She's just a she's a traditionally beautiful girl, and she does commercials with clothing or with merchandise, and they sell a lot of it. And the left's like, see, there it is. Like, what? How long? And all due respect to women on the chat, to men on the chat, whatever political side you're on, how long have we been, I have no interest in objectifying anyone, men or women, but let's face it, look at Abercrombie and Fitch. If you're in any shopping mall in the country and you see an Abercrombie and Fitch, there's good-looking guys wearing Speedos and wearing gym shorts. Is that objectifying men? It sells clothes. I don't know. So it goes both ways, but for some reason, the left has picked her out of all the models in the world doing this. There are models selling handbags and clothing and whatever it is, but for some reason, they really don't like her. Vanity, everyone's going after her right now because she makes companies a lot of money when she wears their clothing in a commercial and says, I like this shirt. Like, see, she's doing it. Like, she's doing what they're paying her to do, selling merchandise. How long have we been hiring beautiful people, men and women, to sell merchandise? Forever? Because people like to look at beautiful people doing things. That's okay. And what you consider beautiful is completely up to you. But on the left, there's these checklists with everything. And one of the checklists is, she doesn't click any of the boxes they think defines beauty. Well, okay, but leave her alone. She's 20, and she's making a good living being a model. She could be doing a lot worse. If you know what I'm trying to say. But she's doing something very respectful, and I think it's very cool to be a model. You've got to take care of your body. You've got to stay in shape. She obviously has someone and some kind of agency representing her, making sure she's not getting ripped off. These big brands can rip you off. You've got to have someone representing you that has your best interests at heart. She has that. She's got a team. So I'm like, I don't even know who she is, but I'm proud of her for standing up to all the noise and saying, I like being a model. I like modeling clothing and merchandise, and I do well doing that, and I don't feel bad at all. But on the left, there's this right, Kim? I didn't listen. I wasn't aware of this phenomenon at all. This is why I try to watch different stuff. I don't just watch things on the right. I watch stuff on the left. But I was watching stuff on the left the other day, and they were just tearing into this girl. I'm like, she sounds like a horrible person. Then I watched the commercial they were talking about, and she's wearing American Eagle jeans and says, they feel great and they make me feel great, or whatever it is. And that's the commercial. I'm like, what was wrong with that? Nothing. Not only was nothing wrong with it, but American Eagle stock, the day that commercial dropped worldwide, their stock went up 30 points. They made like $250 million that day because that commercial dropped worldwide, which is the entire point of hiring models. Men and women, all sizes and shapes and whatever, who cares? I don't care. But for the left to pretend that hiring beautiful people to sell stuff in ads is new isn't great. It's not new. It's one of the oldest things in the world. And there's a reason why human beings like to look at beautiful people, because they're beautiful. And you don't get to define that for everybody, folks on the left. If you listen to them, of course, they have their checklist of everything. You know what I mean? They politicize everything. The air you breathe. Are you breathing it right? And she looks good. Thank you, Kim. She looks great in the jeans because she's a beautiful woman wearing nice jeans that fit her. This is the controversy. you know you have a lot of time on your hands if you're picking out Sydney Sweeney and making her an issue on your you've got a lot of time to kill if you're on the left. Like, that's how much Trump's killing it. I think Trump's killing it so much. I think Trump's doing so well. The recession that they promised would come from his tariffs didn't happen. The stock market's great. Today it's down, but the stock market this year is way, way up. Crypto, way, way up. The tariff stuff, Trump just signed one of the biggest trade deals in the history of history with the EU. The EU is a huge trading partner. 27 countries. Boop. Collective bargaining went, yep. The USA, come on in, we'll buy your stuff, buy our stuff, make it fair. Huge. Philippines, Indonesia, the UK. I mean, I can go on and on. China is the big one. Trump's working to getting China on a new deal with China, and he will. He'll get it done. I'm sure of it. But again, I'm bringing up Sydney Sweeney as an example of, to me, how far the left has politicized everything. Because what else do they have? They don't have a real leader. Who's the leader of the Democrat Party right now? It's not Chuck Schumer. It's not Hakeem Jeffries. Is it AOC? Is it Bernie Sanders at 83 years old? The 40-year-old filthy rich socialist? It's not Bernie. Nobody knows. That's my point. My point is the Democrats are wandering in the field. The Democrats have hit a dead end politically because Trump is successful. Just think about this. If you're a Democrat, you're literally hoping that Trump fails. But Americans voted Trump into office. So Democrats, hey, Robin. Oh, you're my title gifter? Tell you what, if that donut should include some melatonin so I can sleep tonight. Can you sprinkle some melatonin on the donut? Thank you. I'm just kidding. Trump won the last election. The presidents are one of the few, maybe the only public official who's nominated by the entire country. Everyone voted for Trump in every state. He won. He won all 7 swing states. Trump won the Electoral College. Trump won the popular vote. America voted for Trump. So the Democrats' plan until now, into the midterms, is to vote against America, to cheer against America, to delegitimize the president, hoping that in the midterms, people will also want to delegitimize the president, who is America first, who wants more jobs and more prosperity and less taxes. And somehow Sydney Sweeney is a part of that too. Because she's traditionally pretty and we don't like that. Well, everyone else does. The whole world does. Democrats, you can't. I think this is my opinion, okay? I know the difference between an opinion and a fact. This is not a fact. This is my opinion of the Democrat Party right now. Since COVID until this moment, Democrats care more about narratives than empirical reality. They have to, because empirical reality doesn't match their narrative. It never does, right? So the narrative Democrats are trying to sell the American people right now is that Trump's terrible. He's a bad person. He's a terrible president. except for all the successes, except for taking out Iran's nuclear program, except for establishing, helping broker peace between Rwanda and Congo, a 31-year-old conflict that no one could solve. Trump helped solve that. Except for that. Except for establishing a ceasefire between Iran and Israel that no one could do since Israel came into existence in 1948. No one's ever established an official ceasefire between those two countries. Trump helped make that happen. I can go on and on and on and on. The terrorists are supposed to destroy the economy. Things are booming. Every month you get a wage report. Every month the numbers have exceeded the expectations, and those are private sector jobs, not government jobs. The previous administration, Biden-Harris administration, when the job numbers were up, they were government jobs. Biden kept hiring more and more government workers to make the jobs reports up. Yeah. So if you're on the left, you've got to delegitimize all that. Oh, all the peace stuff? Psh, cares. If you're in Central America, and there's been this horrendous conflict, 31 years since 1994. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have been brutally in this conflict. Children, there's no rules of war. There's no Geneva Convention. They're just, and the natural beauty of that part of Africa, decimated by the war, by all the fighting and bullets and stopped. It's done. Trump helped broker that in one weekend. And by the way, the folks from Rwanda said publicly they contacted the Biden-Harris administration multiple times and begged them to help them broker a peace. No one ever called them back. No one ever got back to Rwanda when they were like, please just come here and help us. We think if you come in here, you could broker something because all we can do is fight. No one ever got back to them. One phone call to the DOJ, and the next weekend, the president of Rwanda and the president of the Democratic of Congo are shaking hands with Marco Rubio in the middle. Peace. June 21st, 2025, Trump sent planes in the opposite direction and then sent planes at Iran, took out their 3 main nuclear reactors. Iran's no longer a nuclear threat in the Middle East or in the world. That threat, that credible threat, gone. A ceasefire quickly followed. Imagine that. Imagine that. So if you're a Democrat, your job is to delegitimize all of that. Closed border. Terrible. The border's closed. And then, folks, every time I say that on the chat, every single time I say that, someone on the left goes, the border's not closed. Of course it's not closed. People that can legally come through can come through. And there are some legitimate asylum seekers who go right into the ICE system and wait for their court date to get before a judge to see if a judge grants them asylum. The Biden-Harris administration was granting asylum at the border with no judges. First president in history to do that. That's how so many people. That's how so many millions of people came into our country. ICE agents were allowed to go. Yeah, you want asylum? Come on in. You got it. I'm allowed to do that. I've been deputized to give you asylum. I'm not a judge, but it's cool with this administration. It's not cool with Trump. So if you're a Democrat, you've got to try and delegitimize all that. ICE agents, federal law enforcement agents, executing federal warrants, the definition of due process. If you're on the left, you've got to say, that's bad. Well, in the same way that the police don't make the laws that they enforce, they just enforce the laws, the ICE agents don't make these laws. The ICE agents aren't judges. They're just the worker people that execute the judge's rulings. No. They're the bad guys. How? In the same way that the police are the bad guys. Well, they don't write the laws. They don't make the laws. Traffic police don't write the traffic laws. Politicians do. Politicians make the laws. The lawmakers, Congress, the Senate, they make the laws. But in the Democrats' version of reality, in the Democrats' narrative, because Trump's doing so well, particularly at the border, they have to attack it somehow. So they're attacking the people who are doing their jobs as federal law enforcement officers, executing federal warrants. The definition of due process. Terrible. Has to stop. And they're wearing masks. They're wearing masks because they're getting DOX'd all the time. Democrats are DOXing them and their families. The Democrats literally their whole platform right now is to Because America voted Trump in, the Democrats have to delegitimize America. Just imagine that. Imagine being in that meeting. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, whoever, like, okay, this week, what's our plan? How are we going to make Trump look bad? Well, the one big beautiful bill so far, awesome. Lower taxes, great. School choice, fantastic. Goodness. Waste, fraud, abuse, getting cut. You know what I mean? It's very, very difficult to in other words, Trump's success is making the left move farther to the left. That's why, I mean, people are wondering, why is AOC and Bernie getting so much coverage? Why are folks on the far left because they're as far away from Trump as you can be, and that's what Democrats think is going to get them to win. But unfortunately for them, we just saw in November 5th, 2024 was a referendum on the Biden-Harris administration. It was not a referendum on Trump. Trump had not been in power for 4 years. Biden and Harris had been in power, and the country went, enough of this. No more. Boop. That's it. Done. Get him out. Trump won everything. All 7 swing states, not a coincidence. Knocked down the blue wall, not a coincidence. He won the popular vote. That was the coup de grace. I think that was the final, that proved 2016 was not an aberration, and that proved Americans like knowing their president and their vice president care about Americans first. We should care about everybody because we're the world's last superpower. But when Americans are suffering, that should be our government's priority, making sure Americans aren't suffering. And then once Americans are cool and good, we can worry about the rest of the world. But the last administration cared way more about non-citizens than citizens. And they used Americans' tax dollars to take care of those non-citizens to the tune of about $768 billion. If Kamala Harris would have won the election in November, by now we would have spent $1 trillion bringing non-citizens into our country and paying for all their stuff, while Americans, have 7% mortgage rates and can't afford to buy a house. So again, if you're on the left, I get it. Your job is to delegitimize Trump. But by doing that, you're literally voting against most of the people in this country. Your countrymen and women. It's a losing proposition. I don't see how between now and the midterms anything's going to change, except Democrats' approval rating will go even lower, which is almost impossible because Democrats are polling at under 20% nationally. The lowest it's been since Bill Clinton was in office or something like that. 35-year low. And why is that? If Trump is so bad, in other words, if what the Democrats are saying is Trump's the worst leader in the history of history, twice, because he got elected twice. If that's the truth, why is he doing so well? Why are his approval numbers way up? Hey, liberal kryptonite, what's up? Again, Democrats care more about the narrative than the empirical truth, the facts. And the facts are Trump's tariffs are working. The facts are Trump is cutting new trade deals. They're going to shape the American economy for generations to come. Trump's bringing in trillions of dollars of investment into the United States. He's enticing companies to come here and build data centers and factories, and he's enticing American companies to come back to the USA and build here. You want to pay zero tariffs? Come to the USA, hire American workers, and pay zero tariffs on everything. And a lot of companies are going, that's actually a pretty good idea. America's a big place. We'll find some cool state, build a big plant, and pay zero tariffs. Trump is deranged. Okay, thank you for sharing your opinion. I disagree. I think the Democrats are that word because their goal right now, all the Democrats can say is Trump's a failure. But I don't know how you define a failure. I define a failure by open borders, endless wars, double-digit inflation. I define a failure by believing in your heart of hearts that biological men should compete against biological women in contact sports and not worry about the risk of injury to the biological women. That to me is delusional, deranged. But again, it's a narrative, it's a story that Democrats have sold themselves and they're trying to sell to the American people. Luckily, thank goodness, the American people didn't buy it. Thank goodness that the American people thought, you know what, if there's only two options, if there's only if there's only Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and Trump's already been the president once, I'm going with Trump. I'm done with this. I mean, let me ask the folks in the chat a question, and I'm asking this honestly because I don't know the answer, and I've looked. Did the Biden-Harris administration ever make a cogent argument, a real argument, as to why they let in so many tens of millions of people, unvetted, undocumented, into our country? How does that benefit American people? What I remember them saying is the border's closed. We know it wasn't. So the border was open. They did it deliberately, and they brought people into their sanctuary cities and states. Okay, that happened. But what was the reasoning? Can anyone point to any article, anywhere where Kamala Harris or Joe Biden said, this is why we believe in open borders? The answer is you don't know, because they never told you. Never told anybody. They denied it. And people would go down there with cameras and they would film it, 16,000, 20,000 people pouring in, and they'd go, that's not happening. That's not happening. We're watching it happen. That's not happening. It's not happening. Okay, but if it is happening, why do you want that? Well, we don't want that. We want people to come in legally. Opposite world. Again, the narrative is more important than the truth. But exactly. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, for entertainment and educational purposes only, Democrats have to believe in their heart of hearts that number of new voters, potential, would benefit them. But without vetting who they are, we're finding out now that a lot of who came in were really, really bad people. Not all of them, but enough of them. Laken Riley is an example of what can happen when you don't vet who comes into your country. And there's a lot more names that I could say. So there's a real cost to this. And the Trump administration is cleaning up the mess that the Biden-Harris administration created at the border, both borders, and around the world. Don't forget, under the Biden-Harris administration, Iran had the moxie to go after Israel directly. Since 1948, when Israel became a country, thanks to us, we were a big part of why Israel became a country. Iran has always gone after and been aggressive with Israel through one of its proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas. Israel never went directly at Israel because of us, because they knew and they know that we have Israel's back. So if Iran went directly at Israel, the USA would get involved and stop it really quickly. Well, under the last administration, they watched how Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan. They watched how Russia invaded Ukraine, and Biden went, don't. Remember that one-word phrase? Remember when they asked the vice president and the president, what's your response to what Iran did and what Russia did? Don't. Just the one word, don't. But they already did. Well, don't do it again. That's the policy. Don't. For some reason, that didn't work. Can you imagine? Something that powerful, that thoughtful, that thought-provoking didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So here we are. Trump's the president. The world has changed. Order has been restored, let's say. The EU, NATO are crazy about Trump. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is still going on, and that sucks. I wish that was over. Trump's been trying to get Putin to the peace table since January 20th of this year. Envoys himself, he and Putin are talking and texting and trying to get that resolved. But once it does get resolved, once Trump gets Putin to a ceasefire, Trump has already put into place this entire framework of peace. He's got commitments from Western European leaders to provide 80,000 peacekeeping forces on the newly established demilitarized zone between Ukraine and Russia. That will happen once there's a peace. So Trump's already got peacekeepers, Western European countries promising to provide peacekeepers to that new demilitarized zone. Trump's already signed a rare minerals deal with Ukraine to put American businesses in Ukraine. They'll split the profits with the government of Ukraine 50-50, which will give Ukraine the money to rebuild their country after almost 4 years of war. Trump's created a whole new economy and a whole new military strategy to protect Ukraine forever. Any future aggressor, Russia, whoever that wants to go after Ukraine, Ukraine can say, we've got a direct relationship with these businesses in our country to the USA, so by attacking us, you're attacking the United States. Who's going to do that? Nobody. All we have to do is get Putin to the peace table, and then that happens. So Trump already has that set up and waiting to go. Just got to get Putin to get to the peace table, and that's done. But if you're on the left, there's a problem with that too. They have to delegitimize that somehow. Can you imagine? This started under their watch. Putin invaded Ukraine on Joe Biden's watch. Iran attacked Israel directly first time since 1948 on Biden's watch. Biden pulled out of Afghanistan the worst way possible. The whole world watched that and went, this is not right. This is horrendous. And the Biden team went, yeah, it happens all the time. This is what it looks like. We've been there a long time. It's always messy when you pull out of a country. We expected this. No big deal. Like, people hanging off the wheels of the jet. Yeah, it's always like that. Again, the narrative, more important than the reality. What you're seeing with your eyes, that's not the real truth. The real truth is what we're telling you. Believe what we're saying. Don't believe your own eyes. Believe this from us. Don't believe that from yourself. And Republicans, Trump, conservatives say, listen with your own eyes and your own ears and make your own conclusions. And vote for us if you want to. But trust yourselves. On the other side, it's, we'll tell you what to think. We'll tell you what to say. And if you don't agree with us, go the other way. It's fine. But if you want to be on our team, you got bullet points. Or you're not really welcome on our team. I'm glad I'm on the Trump team. I'm glad I'm on the conservative team. I'm glad you guys joined me today. And Putin isn't going to want peace. We'll see. Alice, Trump's got 3.5 more years to go. With Trump putting pressure on Putin for 3.5 more years, I don't know how I can bet you, because I don't even know who you are, but I would bet whatever I could bet online with someone on TikTok that in 3.5 years, there'll be peace between Ukraine and Russia. If Trump has to make it happen by any means necessary. I don't know what that means, but all options will be on the table. If by this time next year there's not peace yet, Trump will be fed up enough to say, okay, all right, Putin, it's time for us to throw down. You know what I mean? With 3.5 more years to go, Putin doesn't have a chance. Now, if Kamala Harris would have won, if Kamala Harris would have won the election, we wouldn't even be talking to Putin. Because in February of 2022, when the conflict began between Russia and Ukraine, since February of 22 and since January 20th of 2025 at noon, when Joe Biden lost his power and that power was transferred to Trump, the Biden-Harris administration never spoke to Putin once. How do you end a conflict with two countries but only talk to the one country, not the other? Because their goal was never to stop. Their goal was endless conflict. That's always the Democrats' goal, endless conflict. Wars are big money makers for a lot of people. It's gross. So there you have it. That's my take on Tuesday, July 29th, 2025, Conservative Coffee Talk, news for caffeinated conservatives. Again, if you're on the left and you're cheering for America to fail, not going to happen. You're cheering for Trump to screw everything up, not going to happen. If you're cheering for the Democrats to rally and start getting stuff right, not going to happen. If you want to join the America First team, if you want to hang an American flag from your flagpole in front of your house and be proud to be part of this country, you're always welcome. Everyone's welcome. Trump is growing this coalition in leaps and bounds. Trump got people to vote for him in the last election cycle that have never voted Republican before. Trump turned whole zip codes in California red that have never been red. Look at the electoral map. When I get off this chat in 2 minutes, get off wherever you check facts, wherever you search stuff up, just pull up 2025, July 2025, the electoral map. Color, and it's all red. There's little pieces of blue in the coasts. The rest of it's all red. That's not an accident, and that's not part of the left narrative. So they'll find a way to delegitimize that with each other. But people on this chat, left and right, it is what it is. The country has become conservative because of the Democrats. The country's moved to the right because folks on the left demand that you demand that you listen to them, demand that you see the world the way they want you to see it. And if you don't, well, we're going to mess with you. On the right, we say, like Trump says, if you want an EV, great. If you want a gas car, great. If you want a hybrid, great. But the government shouldn't tell you what to do. In California, they tell you can't have a gas stove. That's the difference. Democrats tell you how to live, and you better like it. And our side says, we'd like you to live this way, but we believe in freedom of choice. We believe in freedom. So we hope you do what you want to do. We hope you make the right choice. But the pursuit of happiness means you get to be happy the way you want to be happy, not the way we tell you to be happy. On the left, they tell you how to be happy. They tell you how to be sad. They tell you what to like, what not to like. They tell you how to raise your kid. On the right, we believe in freedom. Always have. Foundation of everything. So listen, guys, thanks for your kind attention. If you like my content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Mr. Soli here in Las Vegas. Vegas, baby. And have a great Taco Tuesday, Texas Tuesday, whatever you celebrate. Not sure what that is. But I'd love for you to comment. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts. I'll be back tomorrow with Conservative Coffee Talk. I want to thank my moderators. Let's see here. Oh, I missed somebody. That's okay. I don't go play cards. Alex, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much, Robin, for moderating. If the nurse popped in, thank you too. Kyle, whoever was helping me today. I couldn't do it without you. I appreciate everyone I'll go back and follow you right now. I'm very good about following people after I finish the chat. I want to be fully present when I'm talking so I don't miss things. And if I missed your comment, I apologize. I had a lot to say today, so I had to get that out. My therapist says that I need to just get things out. So, here I am. But have a great Tuesday. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Again, thank you to the moderators. I'll go back and follow people now and introduce myself. But if I said anything that offended you, that was not my intention. It never is. I believe in being polite and courteous and respectful to everyone. But I'm a conservative, and I'm happy to be a conservative. And I'm happy that Trump won, and I'm happy that I'm America first, and I'm happy that the country's heading in the right direction after 4 years of it heading in the exact wrong one. So again, thank you for your attention today. Have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.